Hello everyone, welcome to Urbanscape Bangalore. And in today's episode, we will be looking at propagating the Gomphrena globosa or the globe amaranth. This is from the Amaranthaceae family that has edible leafy greens like spinach, red amaranth, etc. As we call it here, sopu. This is a native of Central America. This is grown for its blooms that come in different colors of magenta, pink, white, and a lovely red. I've had the first three but would love to procure the red one someday. But now I'm just left with the pink globosa. The colorful structure is actually the bract which attracts the pollinators, and the flowers are these tiny yellow to white structures that jut out to feed the pollinators. And this is a butterfly magnet. The blooms are not fragrant, and these are annuals that grow for a year and die. But you can always harvest their seeds when the flower dries and keep it growing in your garden year after year. You can even buy garlands made of this flower and dry them and grow new plants. I found success with the magenta one, so I can vouch for that and not for the other varieties. The stems of this plant are red too. This is mostly a summer blooming plant that will die out in the cold winter months, and just before that, you can harvest the seeds. They are known to have medicinal compounds in them. Now, another interesting characteristic is that some seedlings grow really tall, have really big leaves, but the flowers are minimal or stunted. You can simply throw away such plants, they will not bear blooms like this. Also, if they are in a container that has other plants, it can suck up all the nutrients and may affect other tender plants. The plants with more dwarf leaves are mostly the heavy blooming types. Now, let us look at its propagation. The first step is to harvest the seeds. You can either wait for the blooms to turn pale in the plant itself or remove the blooms once you notice the plant is not doing so well. Step 2. You must place the seeds in a very dry space away from water. A drawer would do. Humidity will cause mold buildup and spoil the seeds. And I have saved some of the seeds over the years, and they can be stored just like this in a tin can for many years. Step 3. Now, it will be a Herculean task to find the seeds, so what I do is that once the bloom becomes all pale, I just crush it like this, and each of these bracts will have tiny seeds that you may miss seeing. What I do is that I just break the seed heads and sprinkle it like this over a container that already has other plants. I do this mostly during the June-July months just before the monsoon arrives. So as a ballpark, sow the seeds when the weather outside becomes warm. And in few days, you will get these tiny seedlings and you can transplant it into a new container. Even if you don't transplant the seedling, it is okay. They have the survival of the fittest contest, and the ones that are meant to survive and flourish. Now, you can also do seedling thinning, wherein if you have, say, 10 seedlings, remove 5 and keep the rest of the 5. This will give the 5 plants more nutrients and the more chance to survive. Also, sprinkling this in an established container is better, since the roots are not very deep and will not kill the other plants. And scenes like this, where the medicinal pink fostering these tiny pink globules without complaining, is a sight to behold. The monsoon is also an excellent time to sow the seeds. And if you don't want to do the established planter thing, you can sow this in a small container like this. To prepare the mix for sowing, you can use a well-draining mix of 50% sand, 30% compost and 20% garden soil or coco peat. Ensure that you water this plant regularly, especially during summer, and if you see the medium is too wet, desist from watering. Place the plant in a bright, east sheltered location. So this was all about its propagation. Now let's have a quick look at its care. Sunlight. It can take both part and full sun but can do well under part sunlight conditions. So give it at least 6 hours of direct sun. This is not an indoor plant. If you are growing this in a balcony, a south or west unobstructed location will give you more blooms. A terrace setting may burn their leaves. Soil. Now, an interesting fact is that it can grow in any kind of soil, from clay to well draining. But just to be safe, please use a well-draining mix as stated earlier. Watering. This likes being consistently moist and is not drought tolerant. When water levels are low, they show signs of stress, but perk up when water is added. Fertilizer. I don't think this needs too much of fertilizer to bloom like this, and it's a common trait I've seen in most annuals because their whole purpose in life is to bloom, produce seeds, and die. So you don't have to particularly coax them with fertilizers to bloom. Now, perennials are the more fussy ones as far as I know. Pests. This is fairly pest resistant. I haven't seen any so far. Propagation. As mentioned earlier, the propagation is through seeds mostly, and I haven't tried the stem cutting method, but when seeds give you this, why go after the stem? Deadheading. If you want more blooms, you can remove old drying blooms. So folks, this is a great plan to add that instant color without the associated fuss. Now, let me introduce you to two local businesses that are run on the curbside. So, I am showcasing these two small businesses not because they sell inexpensive things, but for the courteousness they extend to their customers. And in my case, the first thing that attracts me to a shop is the kindness and courtesy the people running the shop exhibit. Quality is next, and then the cost. So please don't expect me to give you the prices of anything here or in any of my videos. The only thing I can say is that they are open to a fair enough bargain. So sit back and enjoy the spirit with which they run their business out in the open. Now, in this shop, we purchased a tiny ceramic planter along with these beautiful terracotta chimes with a ceramic glaze that looked very cool. Unfortunately, he was not keen on speaking, so I'm just showing you what he has, and if you like something, I've placed the address below. Visit the shop. Now with this second shop, my friend wanted to buy this now in trend bamboo seating, and this man's innocence and kind eyes is what attracted me to his shop. And I hope I'm able to capture his passion for his craft in this monologue.
ये हमारा हाथ से बना हुआ मुड़ा है कि राजस्थान से हम लोग वो आइटम लेके और इधर फुटपाथ पर एडिट करके और बना के तैयार करते हैं सर। इसमें कोई भी प्रकार की दिक्कत नहीं है और बैठने के लिए ना हीट होता ना कोल्ड होता, बैठने के लिए बहुत ही इजी रहता है। जो ऑरिजिनल जूट से बना हुआ है, जूट से हाथ का बना हुआ है ताकि हम लोग
So folks, encourage people like this who haven't lost their smile or zeal even amidst all the turmoil that lives and livelihoods had to endure during this awful pandemic. And with this, we've come to the end of yet another episode of Urbanscape Bangalore, and I really hope you've enjoyed this particular episode. Additionally, you can follow me on Instagram and Facebook. The links are given below. And always remember, to grow slow is to grow well. Thank you for watching, and until we meet again, a very warm goodbye.